Hey, Tom, welcome to the Metal Injection Livecast. How are you?
I'm good, man. Thank you for having me.
Cool, man. You're on the air with myself, Rob, also here with Noah.
Hello.
Sid.
Hey.
And 3D.
Greetings.
All right. And what's the rules here? Am I have to watch my language or anything like that, or what?
How dare you? There will be no watching of the language.
You must-
need to curse in every answer.
We have a quota of you must curse a certain amount.
Well, I can fucking promise you that much I'm going to.
Very
one.
nice.
Just the way I fucking grew up, you know?
Yeah, well, you grew up on Long Island. We are all Brooklyn
Correct.
folks, so we're off of this. We all grew up on the same island, technically. What part of Long Island did you grow up on?
The whole band basically grew up in, like, Suffolk County.
Okay.
Exit 62, Long Island Expressway, Seaport Deli, near Port Jeff, you know, all the good stuff.
Okay, good. I'm glad we want to talk food. What are the Seaport Deli? Is that the spot if you find yourself
What are
stuck
they
in
known
Suffolk
for?
County?
Seaport Deli, it's close to fucking Downport, and it's got like the best stuff. And they have like all this. They have like sandwiches named after like Mets players that come in too. Like I know they have like a Steven Matz one because he went to Stony Brook College, and now he's on the Mets, and now he's got a fucking sandwich and it kicks ass. But I don't eat meat anymore.
They mentioned that
can't
on
have
a
it.
Mets game.
Oh, really?
They have a couple of other Mets sandwiches too.
Nice. Is there a straight from the path sandwich? We like eggplant.
You know, Long Island like doesn't really give a shit about straight from the path anymore.
Oh.
I wish they did, but like because we just constantly like we're always touring and we're always international now and shit. It's like
Did you guys?
I don't know.
Yeah,
when we
like
come
do you
by, it
still
doesn't
live in?
have that like hometown feeling, you know.
Do you still live in Long Island, or did you move?
No, I moved to Los Angeles, and like our our drummer's from the UK now. Drew is still on Long Island, and our bass player's in Jersey. But you know, we all have family and go back often. But
Right.
Just, I don't know. It's weird. Like I see like hometown stuff all the time. Like I went to like the Every Time I Die Christmas show in Buffalo, and I was like, there's like 1 million people there, and I was like, God damn, we don't get any of this shit.
Well,
So,
there's literally
I mean,
nothing
still
else to
love
do
Long
in
Island,
Buffalo.
and like the shows are still fun, but it's like, I don't know, like we don't, like I remember there was like some Newsday, like article of like the top 10 Long Island acts, and obviously it's got all like the Glass Jaws and Taking Back Sundays in there, which obviously those are like, you know, the mecca of Long Island music, but like then like number 8, 9, and 10 were like bands I've never heard of and stuff, and I was like, we're not even mentioning it. So it's just not that like I'm like, oh, Newsday, please care about me, but it's just like we don't know, like Long Island just like lost its touch with Stray, or maybe the other way around.
Would you say that you miss the old Long Island?
No, I mean, I guess maybe a little bit. I mean, that's where all my memories are from, you know, like I grew up with like not knowing that bands toured. Like the only bands that toured were like Deftones and like Rage and stuff, you know what I mean? So like the first bands that I saw tour were like Glassjaw and From Autumn to Ashes and Take It Back Sunday and stuff, and like that was like, oh, that's crazy, that can never happen. So like the bands I like listened to were like Subterfuge and Backup Plan and Domain and like all these bands that people don't really know, and like, you know, but to me those were like the big bands. So it's like, I don't know, I miss that stuff a lot, but you know, obviously there's a lot of good stuff coming out of Long Island now with like Incendiary and Sanction and you know, to me Long Island always has great stuff, and like I have got a lot of love for Long Island, and I always will. But I don't know. I guess I don't feel that like personal attachment with Long Island and Stray anymore, and I don't know what it is, and I wish that they love Stray like a hometown usually does, but I don't know what happened.
Do you have a favorite New York pizza spot? This is big.
I used to go to Little Vincent's all the time because it was open till like 2 a.m. When I used to work at like a poker club, like really close there by the train station, and like I would deal my 30-minute shift, and then they'd be like, "Oh, go grab pizzas at Little Vincent's at like 1 a.m. or whatever," and I'd be like, "All right." That's like the one that comes to my head.
Nice.
Is this poker club? Is this legal? Or was this a little under the table situation?
No
What's
way.
going on here?
Definitely not. I mean, the poker club financed a lot of stray from the path early on in our career. You know, like because
That's
I mean
awesome.
I haven't done it since I was 18 to 20 years old, but like yeah, I used to deal like Texas Hold'em tournaments and
Wow.
and like cash games and stuff. I used to work like 2 days a week and make like $1,000 a week, and you know that's how we bought our vans and trailers and equipment and whatnot. Like it was pretty wild.
That's pretty cool.
Nothing ever crazy happened to me, but like, you know, there were some friends I worked with that, you know, would be dealing and then, you know, the cops would just bust the door down or whatever. But that shit never happened to me. Never got robbed, never got raided.
That's good.
How do you get into something like that at 18 years old?
Did you just know a guy?
Yeah, it was our bass player at the time, Ryan Thompson was his name. His brother worked there, and he would hit us up to come, me and like another friend, he would hit us up to come and play, and then we play there all the time. And then after a while, they were like, "Oh, we're looking for a dealer," and I was like, "Oh, I'll do it." And then they like literally taught us how to do it, and it was me and James who sang for Backtrack, and like, you know, me and him were like best friends growing up, still are best friends today, but like we used to just finance our bands through doing that shit, you know. So but yeah, we got in there through our Stray's original bass player at the time, his brother, he like got us into that.
That's great. One thing I wanted to mention that I was very impressed with is on your last album, you guys put out a song called "Good Night, All Right," and the reason I think it's brave is because anytime we would write about any extreme conservative viewpoints in metal, which sadly have come up to the surface more than we thought there was, there would be this huge weird blowback, and a lot of it from people that are not even metalheads. So I can only imagine when you guys released that song, and it was like in the height of this drama going on, this unrest in the country, how much hate mail and crap you guys must have gotten.
Oh, dude, how long you got on this show? I mean, dude, like, and just to go back to you saying like it would be from a lot of people that, you know, aren't even involved in metal or hardcore. Like that was almost, I would say, 95% of it. You know, like it was so funny. We'd get people like tweeting at Sumerian Records, like, "Sumerian, I'm so disappointed in you as a loyal customer that you would allow such hate speech about people with different opinions. I am boycotting your label." And then you click the guy's profile. He's like a 70-year-old man. I was like, all right, you fucking geek.
Lemmy,
but
wasn't
dude,
it?
yeah, we got everything. Like
No, it was not Lemmy.
everything you could think of, man. Like, you know, Alex Jones posting stuff, and obviously Richard Spencer and stuff. And it was wild, man. It was crazy.
Hold on. Alex Jones called you guys out? I'm not sure.
Yeah. Like he posted like a video of it and whatnot. Like he never did like on camera, so where you see him saying our name, which obviously would have been money, but you know,
Yeah.
he like posted something to like his Facebook page and like about it, and that shit blew up, you know. So, but yeah, he never like mentioned it by name, because that's the thing, like going into it, like, you know, even though like we have a pretty good following, and I would say our band is decently successful in a metal hardcore scheme of things, you know, we still think like we're a fucking mid-range metal hardcore band from New York. Like there's no way any of these people would care, but we're getting hit up by like fucking CNN and shit, like trying to talk about it, whatever. And it was just like, you know, it's definitely wild. You know what I mean? And again, a lot of people come out of the woodworks, but all these people that just didn't really know much about metal or hardcore or anything like that, you know.
Are you guys all basically on the same page politically, or are some members of the band a little more active than not? Like, was there any discussion of like, oh, do we want the attention we might get here, or were you guys kind of like ready for it?
No, we weren't. I mean, we were ready for it, but we weren't ready for this. You know, we never thought.
You didn't expect,
like
how
I said,
crazy it would
because of the size of our band. And like obviously, you know, if Rage Against the Machine makes a statement like that, you expect it to be big because they're one of the biggest bands of all time. And in a band of our size, you know what I mean? Like where, you know, let's say on average 500 people are coming to our shows every day. You know what I mean? Like, again,
Yeah.
good in our reality, but like in the grand scheme of the world, there's a fucking million bands like that. You know, so it's like I just didn't think it would reach the level it did. And you know, when it did, it you know, it was definitely like surprising, but you know, we handled it well. And yeah, we're all on the same page. I mean, when you talk about the things that we talk about, we kind of have to be, and if we're not, then it's it could get weird. So, but we're pretty much on the same page of literally everything,
Yeah, and like next year, of course, is the big election year, and I think that it's going to be, there's going to be a lot of news going on and a lot of noteworthiness. Have you been following the election cycle? Is that something you've been paying attention to?
Oh, yeah, of course. I mean, it's hard not to, you know what I mean? If anything, I feel like these 4 years or almost 4 years has gone by pretty quick. It's like kind of crazy that we're already at the next term.
And yet also it feels like it's been 20 years. It's gone by. I agree.
I'm sorry, say that again?
It feels like it's gone by quickly, but then also at the same time, like you think about something that happened, like for example, right at the beginning of the Trump administration, and like the dumb controversy about the crowd, and it feels like that happened 20 years ago because so much has happened since then.
Yeah, I mean, when I think about it now, I mean, like we released the first single we had with our drummer Craig. The first single we made with him was the House Always Wins that we released on Election Day in 2016. Mm-hmm. So now for like the split second, I think, holy shit, that was almost 4 years ago, So it's like, So that puts it in perspective because now it's like, Craig's been in the band for 4 years and it feels like he's been in the band for 10 years. But yeah, I mean, hey, we're paying attention. I mean, it's kind of hard not to, even if you aren't as involved in politics as we are, like, it's hard to kind of not see what's going on and not care what's going on. So, I mean, it's going to be a pretty telling year because, as far as like I at this point, I would say I'm a Bernie supporter. Like, I mean, maybe there's certain things that like people say I shouldn't believe in that he does or whatever the fuck. But like, I just like that the guy's real. I like that his story is backed up for as long as you could find about him. And it just, I feel like I have a good read on people too. And I like his vibe, and I like the idea of, everyone should have the basic needs to live, like food, water, shelter, education, healthcare, and then from there, what you decide to do with your life is up to you. But like, there's too many people that don't have opportunity because they're too busy working paycheck to paycheck, and having to buy unhealthy things for them and their families and stuff. So it's like I want everyone to get a shot, and then whether, whatever people decide to do from there is good. And I think Bernie's on that page too. So, but last year or 4 years ago, Bernie is doing rallies and he is, drawing like hundreds of thousands of people, like sometimes 100,000 people in one event alone. And quite frankly, Hillary Clinton is doing the same, but she's drawing less crowds than Stray from the Path does, honestly. And like there's pictures of her playing like going out there to like
we're right there
people.
with you, dude. Yeah.
And I see these pictures and I'm like, man, that looks like worse than our show at like Lawrence, Kansas. You know what I mean? Like, so we see so I see all this shit and I was like, oh, there's no way she's gonna win, and then she gets it. Yeah. And then that's what kind of prompted us to write that song House Always Wins, and we were all pretty upset about it because it's just like, it just showed you how fixed the whole fucking thing was. But now, I mean, obviously there's, like, again, Biden, I think, isn't as much of a, like, Hillary figure as people want to be. But it's like, let's say Biden gets the Democratic nod this year. It's like,
we're fucked.
I lose all hope. You know what I mean? Like, that takes the wind out of my sails, the air out of my tires, whatever the fuck you want to say. But, like, again, I really hope that Bernie gets it there, and then to me that's when shit will start revving up. But I mean, there's a lot of stuff that could happen in the next couple months, and definitely curious to see which way it shakes out.
Well, I think now that Bloomberg has jumped in the race, it's a wrap for everybody else. We're all just waiting for Mike Bloomberg to jump in.
I think the good thing to keep in mind about Biden that is different from Hillary Clinton is that while she was not in any way a popular figure, she could at least put a sentence together, and Biden's brain is slowly melting out through his eyes, and any momentum he would have in a different scenario is going to be squandered when he has to go start talking, and he sounds like Abe Simpson talking about his onion belt on the stage.
Well, I think there's people that have opposite views of us that say the same thing about Bernie. You know what I mean? And I think you could see it in little things, like, as much as I love like Larry David and some things that Saturday Night Live does, it's like, even like the way they make fun of him, it's like people think that way about him, where he just like they think that this dude is nuts. But I mean, yeah, I agree. But and then if anything, that also goes back. Like I would have thought that like Hillary had no shot too because she was pandering to everyone and it was so painfully obvious. Like I remember there was an interview she did where she was on like some sort of hip hop radio show and she was talking about how
Hot
she
sauce?
carries hot
Yeah.
sauce. Yeah,
Yeah,
the hot sauce in
97,
her bag. And they're like, "Are you pandering to us?" And then she goes, "I don't know, is it working?" And I was like, "This girl's crazy." You know what I mean? So like, but then she gets the fucking nod. You know
what
what I
I
mean?
can't-
And then Trump gets the office, so it's like,
What I can't understand
Go ahead.
about that clip is how did not one of those hosts go, "All right, bitch, open your purse. I want to see the hot sauce in there." How did not one of them do that?
probably because they didn't want to. Probably because they didn't want to wake up with a bullet in their head.
Well, yeah,
You're right.
Or
Probably.
like she wins the presidency, and then all of a sudden the FCC is pulling their license. You know?
That's a good point
Take
too.
it easy there.
Cut Charlemagne off the air. Stat.
Exactly. Yeah. Like that's the one thing, man. Like Trump is definitely like, Trump is Trump, but like Hillary is like that Joe Pesci Goodfellas kind of like, smile to your face, but then you think you're having a good time, and then you sit down in the front seat, and then a piano wire is taking you out. You know what I mean? It's like she's like scary on like those levels.
I just think Trump is that guy too. I think they're just peas in a pod. Like I think Trump is the worst of the worst, But the problem is that we have a two-party electoral system, and we have one group of people. That we have fascists, and then we have like fake left people that are squatting on our opposition party where we can do something about the fascists. So to me, it's like a sub boss in a video game. Like you got to get rid of this. You got to get rid of the immediate threat. Like people will say we have to vote for the Democrat because the Democrat is not as bad as the Republican. Like, all right, if they're 8% less bad than the Republican, I agree with you, but we're not going to be able to do anything about Trump if we don't get the fake opposition out of the way that allows us to do something about Trump.
For sure. And honestly, like my big thing, and I get a lot of shit for it, and I honestly stopped talking about it because it's such an unpopular thing, but because we're in the heat of the moment and I feel like it's appropriate, I'm going to say it. But that's why I think voting is kind of bullshit, because when you vote, you tell the people, I'm okay with this. I'm okay with how this is running. And when everyone is participating, that's why it's like, I know it's like, it's hard to do that. It's like, yeah, but then if you don't get a say. But I'm just like, but you're telling people that it's okay. If you go and eat shit for dinner and you keep eating it every night, they're going to keep serving it to you because it's cheap to make, and it's like, I don't know. But then if you stop eating then they're just going to have an excess amount of shit, on hand.
Yeah. Like,
Well, it
what's the
seems like
alternative?
the last presidential election, people very much agreed with you that there wasn't no point. There was a suppressed vote. People weren't excited to go vote, so the turnout wasn't good, and that's exactly like people weren't enthusiastic to vote for Hillary. People weren't like grabbing their relatives to vote for Hillary because it's just like.
And we should also remember people were not enthusiastic to vote for Trump either.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people did the same on each side. Like they said, well, Trump is a piece of shit, but I can't vote for Hillary Clinton.
Right,
and then you have
right.
people say, well, Hillary Clinton's a piece of shit, but I'm not voting for Trump. And that's the bulk of who voted in that election.
Yeah.
Yeah. And honestly, man, I remember in 2016 at the time going like, man, I think I would rather Trump because Hillary to me is terrifying, and on a way of like that people don't, the normal everyday civilian don't know. Now everyone knows that obviously Trump is a nightmare, but it's like, I don't know. Again, you just couldn't win. And then again, not sorry for the shameless plug, but that was the part of the song. You know what I mean? We put that fucking song out, the chorus is we're fucked no matter who we choose. You know what I mean? And it's like,
I feel we would have been
burn
less.
the ballots, sweep them under the rug, like that's the kind of whole thing. Like where we're seeing pictures of all these people that voted for Bernie and they're sitting in like boxes in like a basement and they're like, oh, well, don't worry about it. And it's just like, what do you do?
I think I would never go so far as to say that I would vote for Trump. I could definitely understand why people came to that conclusion, because you're being offered. Well, you just went through 8 years of Obama where nothing improved for working people whatsoever. We went backwards, and you have this resentment of that side, and then you have a choice between basically 4 more years of Obama or this snake oil salesman who's like an idiot and an imbecile, but he's like a gifted at rhetoric, and he knows how to use those 8 years of Obama to make you think he's offering you something different. And he offered a bunch of good stuff.
Yeah.
In addition to a lot of horrible, shitty stuff and racist stuff, he offered people one issue, economic issue voters, like, I'm going to make your life better. And they're taking that 0.001% chance that the idiot host of The Apprentice is better than 4 more years of Obama. So I understand where they're coming from. Like, I know it's wrong, but I
For sure.
understand the mindset.
Yeah, there's honestly there's a lot of people that I know, like their parents voted for Trump, but they don't believe in the racist stuff. But we're talking people that grew up in the 80s and 90s, and when I say grew up, I mean like went through their 20s and 30s, where they had to go and cold call and walk house to house like selling shit, and like these people worked hard and they honestly got their money, and they looked at it as like, if this guy could help me keep some of it, then I get it. And honestly, when you pay taxes every year and you don't get anything in return, like education, healthcare, or anything like that, I get it too, because I have no problem paying taxes. Like, I want to pay taxes if it means that you get something out of it. But right now, it's like I see taxes and I'm like, fuck this, because what do I literally get for this? And honestly,
you get a
I hear about
segue
these quote-unquote
for a
tax
general
breaks
in the
from
army.
Trump.
That's what you get for your tax dollars.
These tax breaks from Trump for 2018 or whatever, that's the most I've ever paid personally in taxes.
Same.
Was last year. So it's like, where is this
bullshit.
fucking tax break?
Well, he
You know what I
made
mean?
sure
Like,
to
I
screw
didn't
over New
get
York
anything.
and
And again, I'm not
California.
complaining about paying taxes. I would if it meant that it got something. So
It's one of many things he lied about.
and again, we go ahead.
Yeah, no, it's just one
what
of
were you
many
saying?
things he lied about. But my thing is, like, how do you? All right, if you're the Democrats and you go, okay, we lost to this bag of Jello. What do? We ran a centrist establishment shithead. What do? We lost to Trump. Why did he win? He won because he promised all this stuff to people, right? And didn't deliver on it. So you say,
Yep.
well, look, Trump went 4 years, didn't deliver on any of this shit. We have a guy will really deliver this shit that Trump was offering you. Promote that guy.
Yeah.
But their plan is to continue to promote the same centrist establishment shitheads. Maybe a younger one, but the same thing. That just it blows my mind how stupid that is.
None of us will really know what happens in choosing these people. Everyone can watch the House of Cards and Veep shows or whatever and think that they have an idea, but we really don't. And, you don't know what certain people are being bought, or you don't know what people are being threatened with. Like, it's a scary game,
Except for Epstein,
and
what happened with him.
so you never know what's going to happen. Like, you could really only just sit back and watch and as for like us, the band, like, we go out there and we are trying to spread a message that we believe is right. Whether people believe it's right as well is another story, and do our best to kind of do our part, whether it's a very fucking small dent in the world or it does nothing or whatever, but at least we're trying, but it's like, and then when it comes to doing this stuff, you kind of got to sit and wait, you know what I mean? But I know that if Bernie does get the nod, then I'm going to be out there fucking, helping and donating and whatever we could do.
Then you will
I
encourage
don't know
people to vote.
how I'm going to feel if it's Biden versus Trump,
I was just saying, like, if it is Bernie, then you would encourage people to vote. You wouldn't tell them that they can sit it out.
Of course not. I mean, and I don't even encourage people not to vote.
You just don't.
I just say that my belief is if I take part in a system that I think is broken, then I'm the problem,
Mm-hmm.
But if someone says, like, yes, but I want my thing to be my opinion and my point, I want that to be noted, and that's fine. Like, I'm not going to say, oh, you're an idiot, but I just go, hey, well, my opinion is it doesn't mean a fucking thing. And again, if it did, then you would have saw the guy drawing 100,000 or 100,000 people, and not lose to the person drawing 150 people in Los Angeles. Like, it's crazy. So again, we can only kind of sit and wait and see what's up, and it's intriguing, but
Well, if you
I
thought
can't say that I'm super hopeful.
If you thought the alt-right was bad, wait until all the Hillary fans that listen to the live cast get a hold of you. It's going to be trouble for Stray from the Path. But I want to mention you guys have a new album. Internal Atomics. It's out now. You guys are out on
Correct.
the road. You are going to be in Chicago tomorrow, Lakewood, Ohio later
Correct.
this week, Detroit, Pittsburgh, Buffalo, Toronto, Baltimore, Philly, Richmond, New York, all the big spots, Worcester. So you guys, everyone can check out
Worcester. We
Surfing
also
Bet.
do Montreal. We do Toronto, and we also do Ottawa.
Oh, interesting. Actual Canadian dates. And then you guys
That's
head
on
out.
that's on our own. That's
Oh,
yeah.
okay. And then you guys head out to the UK to join Knock Loose. So plenty of opportunities.
We actually we're not to jump in there, but
Please.
we're actually doing our biggest headliner we've ever done. We only have one show in Bristol where we were both booked in Bristol the same night, where we joined our tour packages for that one night. But
Oh, I
honestly, it's our own headliner with support from Devil Wears Prada, Loathe, and Gideon. I mean, it's going to be a milestone for this band because it's the whole UK tour is on pace to sell out, and London's going to be the biggest show we've ever headlined in our
Oh,
career.
wow. You're
and
playing the O2.
We've been working pretty hard for it, and it's what'd you say?
I said you guys are playing the O2 in London. That is quite a big venue.
O2 Islington Academy is what we're doing. Correct. Yeah, for us that is a big venue, and we've been working very hard to get that done. So
Awesome. Well, congrats on all the success. And we'll
appreciate it.
I think as we end this, we can all agree that Jeffrey Epstein didn't kill himself.
Yes, that's a given.
We've been saying it on stage since this tour started.
All right, man. Thanks again. Have a great one.
Appreciate you all. Thank you.